Morning, people. This is Thunderhands live. Don't know how my volume is. Hope it's good. Uh, the the title of today's discussion is "Fear and Loathing in the World." Seems like we have all kinds of fear and loathing in the world. Thank you. Somebody said my volume's okay. Thank you. Insight Benez, I guess that is. When you look around the world today, let me preface this conversation with this too. If anybody has any questions about anything that I've talked about in any of my videos or anything that I might be knowledgeable in, I'm open to it. I'm going to focus on this fear and loathing because I'm seeing that that's coming up a lot lately, both in personal relationships and personal behavior and world behavior, one man against another. So there is fear and loathing, and we can also add guilt to that in the world today. What is it from? Where does this come from? Where does the fear and the loathing and the guilt and all that come from? Well, in my estimation, it comes from two things mainly, and that would be religion and politics. So it's not just local politics. It's not just politics in the USA. It's politics all around the world. Okay, so we would call that geopolitics. Okay, geopolitics. And then you have the religious thing that is all around the world too, and it's like one man's against the other because of religious beliefs. Okay, and then we get down to racist beliefs. Okay, which usually stem from some kind of religious belief. Okay, and so we have mankind pitted against one another. Uh, and that's right. That's what the systems are designed to do. Now, why are they designed to do that? To divide mankind. It's because of an agenda. There's an agenda. And that is the agenda, to divide mankind, to pit one man against another, and to make man feel guilty and to make man feel fearful. Okay. And all these things work together. All these things work together. So we're going to let that affect us. I mean, let's look at religion. There's religion and there's spirituality. Religion is usually a set of belief systems or dogma, okay, that is formed around some type of master that came on the earth at one time or another. It could either be Yeshua, or it could be Buddha, or it can be Confucius, or it could be Muhammad, or whoever these people think is an enlightened master. But usually the enlightened masters were very simple in their teachings. And these teachings were kind of like a silver thread that winds through all religious beliefs. So you have religion with its ritual and dogma, and then you have spirituality. Spirituality, to me, is a much higher level, okay, or let's say it's a much higher frequency. And basically, it's all encompassing, okay? There is no division with spirituality. There shouldn't be, not with true spirituality. So I gravitate towards being a spiritual person, and I look at all religions and all belief systems, and I take the good out of what I want out of that. If there's anything that is in a religion, okay, or a set of belief systems that tends to make you feel guilty or less than what you really are, which is you are actually part of God or the creative force or the creative intelligence or whatever you want to call it. If there's anything that makes you feel less than that in that set of belief systems, or if there's anything in that religion that puts one man above another, puts one man on a pedestal, say like the Pope, okay, or the hierarchy, or any religion, any hierarchy in any religion. If you have to live in fear of judgment from man, then you're in the wrong belief system. You need to get out of it. You need to free yourself. So here we have, okay, so that's part of the religion thing, and then politics and geopolitics go hand in hand with actually politics is almost like a religion. You have the hierarchy, the president or the prime minister or whatever, and then you have the clergy, okay, which is Congress. Okay. So it's basically all the same thing, okay? Or do they turn one man against another? Well, of course they do. Look at politics today. Look what's going on in the United States, especially with the hate and anger and the pointing of fingers at one another and the just constant chatter, chatter, chatter of he did this or she did that or you know, and then trying to hook that up somehow with the religious aspect. Like these people are all moral or something. Let me tell you something about most Christian clergy or people that are in a state of or a position of power. Most of these people that are in the position of power that say you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, like say on a sexual level or a morality level or any kind of level, usually these people that are in positions of power are the ones that are doing exactly what they tell you not to do. Take, for instance, the clergy in the Catholic Church, pedophilia and all that good stuff, bad stuff, really. Um, this is par for the course. This is what's going on here. So if you're entrapped in any of these things, you need to detach from it. You need to get out. You need to get out of it. It's negativity to the highest degree, and we all get sucked into different things, like politics and geopolitics, and we all opine on it. I do. Um, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like, oh, welcome, Rick. He's a member of the Campfire Council. Yeah, a lot of a lot of forgiving needed. Well, forgiving is one of the things that is part of the silver thread, I guess, that weaves through. I'd say the spiritual silver thread that weaves through all these religious beliefs. See, it's not the beliefs, it's not the teachings of the masters, that have been adulterated, that even that isn't so bad, it's the power associated with, usurping these beliefs and forcing them on other people. Um, but forgiveness, okay, and love, and, let's say, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, being humble, being meek, being open, okay? To new thought, all these things go against the traditional religious values. Really, I mean, they espouse them, and they speak with a forked tongue. That means they talk out of one side of their mouth one minute, and then their actions show that they're whatever they're talking about, whatever they're espousing, whatever they're saying that you should do, they're doing just the opposite. So, aren't most of these people like Trump or even Hillary or both sides of the spectrum here in the political arena, aren't they both claiming that they're quote unquote Christians. Well, if that's what a Christian is, I certainly don't want to have anything to do with it. I really don't. And neither should anybody else out there. See, this is the problem. And so in the political arena, okay, in the political arena, it's the same thing. And in geopolitics, it's the same thing. Okay. It's what's good for you. People try to tell you what's good for you. Okay. Another person trying to tell you what's good for you, another imperfect person trying to tell you what's good for you. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't to me. And we know that most of the problems that we have within ourselves, okay, about guilt and fear, comes from societal conditioning, which I mention in one of my books. Comes from societal conditioning, comes from us being born into a world and being poisoned or adulterated, like a clear glass of water, and then all of a sudden mud's poured into it. And what do we do the rest of our life? Well, we search for that clear glass of water that is really us, that is really the oneness with the creative force. We always are trying to get back to that. We're always trying to find peace, okay? And that's another thing, people are deluded by these offers of peace and salvation, okay? Salvation doesn't come from any man, it comes from within you, okay? You have to work out. That's what Yeshua meant when he said you have to work out your own salvation. It doesn't come from outside you, it comes from inside of you. And so when you get these promises, okay, and interpretations of scripture that promise you this and promise you that, they promise you like the second coming of Christ. They promise you maybe a paradise earth after a major destruction. They say that there's going to be an end times, and like a lot of prophecies do talk about the end times, even the Hopi prophecies. So people tend to look forward to these events, and actually, mass consciousness could actually create these events. We are stronger than we think we are. We have been given the power by the Creator to create, okay? We are a creative force ourselves, and so we can manifest things in our lives. And depending on our conditioning, we will either manifest things that are not so good, or we will manifest things that are righteously good. And it's all in that subconscious mind, and that subconscious mind has been programmed and programmed and brainwashed and programmed over and over and over again by religious people, religions, political people, schools, the society that we live in, our parents. And so what's going on with this? Can we overcome it? Well, the only way we can overcome it first is to realize it, okay? And that's kind of like one of my purposes, I guess, is to bring people to maybe through my words, a sort of realization of what's happening to them. And how do I know about these things? Well, it's because I find those very things in myself. Okay, I find that when I get off track, okay, that it's usually from one of these sources. It's usually from some type of belief system, okay, that has been drilled into my head. And it's a constant battle about getting outside the belief system and getting into a more Taoist or Zen frame of mind. And that frame of mind is where we let the world form around us. We don't get so involved with matters of the world. We just notice them and we let it form around us, and we remain detached and peaceful. See, that's the thing. It's like geopolitics and religion tend to make you out of balance, not in balance. And what makes you out of balance is anxiety, okay? And they work on that. The deep state and these people that are trying to control mankind work on fear and loathing and division. They use all these things, and they're masters at it. Um, they are so deep into it that they can make you think that your enemy is your friend and your friend is your enemy. Okay, they will have you to the point where you don't know whether you're coming or going. Okay, and I see that a lot right now in what's going on with YouTube and what's going on with the different perspectives, okay, and the mainstream media, which is just pure propaganda, and then you have the alternative media, and then you have the people that control the mainstream media trying to use their propaganda against the alternative media and the alternative media, and so it's a constant battle. And then the people in the alternative media get hung up in their different political aspects, and there are different religious aspects. I watch people um, on YouTube, and I do it for intel just because I like to gather information and see what's going on. But the more I watch it, the more I realize, and the more that I look at the comments, okay, in the sections beneath and in the chat like this. Now, see, I'm glad I got some people on here. Even if I have a few people, I can actually go down and read the chat. It's not going by so quick that I can't look at it and go, okay, there's a comment and there's another comment. I'd rather have that. And I like interacting with people, okay, but on the other hand, some of the comments on some of these other channels, well, for instance, I watch a lot of different channels, and I'll name a few. I watch this guy Roy Potter, and I watch X22, and I watch sometimes I watch Blackstone Intelligence, which used to be End Times News Report. But see, these people, every one of them, although I must say X22 doesn't seem to be revealing too much of a religious bent, but people like Roy Potter and people like some of these other people are definitely into either the political mindset or religious mindset, like Christian patriots. Okay, somehow those two words got united into one movement. Christian patriots. Oh, does that mean that there's no other kind of patriots? Don't know. Obviously, there's other people that think that the Constitution is something that should be upheld that aren't Christians. Okay, um, but that's an illusion too, because the Constitution. Here we get back to politics again in the original form. Okay, when you think about the indigenous people of this land, of which I am one, or have blood. And what they went through with the people that are in control now, okay, then you really realize the truth of the situation. The fact that 200 million plus natives were exterminated from the people that came over on the Mayflower and their descendants, and European man, and actually the Spaniards too, which is also European man. Um, when you see that those people are in control through their manifest destiny or through their applying of manifest destiny towards the indigenous people, then you know what's going on here. Things got out of control a long time ago. There's always been this pursuit of trying to exterminate people that were living next to the earth, people that had a heart of oneness with nature, more earthy type people, more people that really respected the planet, and the four-leggeds and the winged ones, and even other two-leggeds. Were there always wars? Where, yeah, there were, even amongst the tribes, but kind of a different scale, people. Not really. Then we have to talk about honorable and dishonorable, and that gets into a whole nother subject that I'll get into another time. But and it seems like, I mean, there's some thought about this, that our DNA structure somewhere along the line has that inbred into it, being a warrior. Um, so that's also a subject for another time that I won't touch on today. But just what I want to do today is tell people that I'm going to be on here. Um, I'm going to be available. If people see this live stream and they want to interact, let's say one of my purposes is giving wisdom, okay, whatever wisdom I've gathered in my life on different subjects. And I have studied a lot of different things and am involved in a lot of different things on a spiritual level, okay, as well as, so I transcend, I go back and forth. My frequency is way up here sometimes, and sometimes it's like not so way up there. It's more down here. But you have to do that to communicate with certain people, because not everybody's way up here, okay? So if I talked specifically from way up here all the time, uh, then the levels beneath that, and I'm not saying that I'm not placing myself on a pedestal. I'm just addressing frequencies and levels of frequencies where people have progressed to. So I've progressed to a certain point, and there's people that are way above me. Okay. But if I can help anybody progress or raise their frequency up in any way, shape, or form, if I can answer some questions, and I touch on all subjects. Somebody said that you feel a lot more people will be available to chat later in the day or on the weekends due to work. Well, that's true. That's true. I kind of go when the spirit moves me. And I've found that sometimes in the morning there's more chat than I've done it at night. So I don't know. I'm still experimenting with that. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, thank you for enjoying the live stream. I appreciate that. Getting back to what I was saying, I'm here to answer any questions or give advice or, let's say, impart wisdom that I've gained in my years on the planet, okay, and that I've gained through spiritual practices. I'm going to start teaching more spiritual practices. I've done this in the past. I have a lot of videos on, let's say, meditation, breathing, energy, inner chi, all these different things that can help you cope with the exact thing that I'm talking about right now, which is anxiety and fear and loathing. Well, what is loathing? Let's get back on that a minute. Well, that's anger. Okay, that's having anger for another person or another group of people or another political like Democrats and Republicans and or libertarians or people fighting amongst themselves about who's right or wrong and all this stuff. It's all an illusion, people. It's all there to trick you, okay, to make you think that you have some kind of control in your life. Um, you know, people go out and let's say they vote for Donald Trump. I don't vote. Let me just state that right off the bat. I look at things and I look at maybe I look at the lesser of the two evils, or maybe I have hopes for somebody keeping their promises, but they don't. But look at all these people that voted for Trump and thought when he said on the campaign trail that he was going to make friends with Russia and make peace around the world. Well, it's just the opposite, isn't it? Is shooting missiles into Syria, who has an ally of Russia. Is that making friends with Russia? Is imposing sanctions on Russia? Is that making friends with Russia? Is this rhetoric about this person's evil and that blobbity blah 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 loudmouth politicians not keeping their promises ever, ever. So this is the kind of thing, okay, that divides people. Okay, this is the kind of thing that divides people, and really, basically, I think all these people are on the same side. I don't think there's any division at all as far as their agenda. Their agenda is to divide and conquer, like somebody said earlier. Their agenda is to keep control of mankind. Their agenda is to trick mankind. Their agenda is to create fear and loathing in mankind and guilt. Okay. So the minute you step outside of this agenda or this mindset, that frees you up. Okay. And I know they try to suck you in on all kinds of things on an everyday basis because guess what? Politics and geopolitics and the running of governments and the running of states all has an effect. Okay. Or all has all kinds of things that you have to deal with on a day-to-day level, even if it's paying your gas and electric bill or your rent. There's always politics involved in that. There's always agendas, there's always cheating, there's always scams. So it's always a thing of control and a thing of holding something over your head or a thing of survival on the deepest level. If you really want to get primordial about it, it's all about survival. Okay. What they do is they put you into a mode of like just trying to survive, okay, and working hard so every day you think just about nothing except survival, as opposed to being able to relax, okay, and maybe do some meditation and do some whatever you want to do to increase your spirituality. Let's say, like maybe prayer for some people, which is nothing more than an affirmation to your higher self, okay? This is what they try to do, and this is what they do. And so, this is maybe I'll be addressing or doing some videos that I've done before. But I can do them again because, as time progresses, I get new insight into my spiritual practices. and I evolve, okay, and so some videos that I have done in the past, I might go back and look at some of those, and even though they got some good information in them, I might look at them and laugh and go, "Well, yeah, except, I know better than this or that now." And if you're progressing on a spiritual path, that's something that's gonna be happening, okay? That's gonna be something that's happening. You're never gonna stay stationary, okay? You're always gonna be fluid. You're always gonna be, discovering new ways to talk to people, to impart knowledge, um, new ways to communicate, new ways that you might be you see, if you're not advancing and if you're not changing, then you're, not growing and you're not raising your frequency. So I'll talk about all kinds of things that I know about, and but I also progress. Okay, I progress and I get new insight, and I get a new vision or new light on certain things that I've talked about in the past. For the most part, most of the things are pretty stable. What I've talked about in the past in regards to spiritual practices. So I will be, my point here is I will be touching on some of those subjects again, and trying to impart some information about how we can escape, okay, from this fear and loathing and division and politics and religion and brainwashing that we've been going through on this planet. So I encourage you to share this video. I'm coming from a different place than a lot of these people. I'm pretty neutral. Um, Somebody just asked me if I feel that most of the news is false or fake. Well, most of it's propaganda. So yes, it's not really. It's basically it's based on what they want you to believe. And that gets deep into the psychological operations of the deep state and the military industrial complex and the new world order people, okay? But having said that, don't think that on the alternative media and on YouTube, that's just another side of, the politics, okay, involved here. So what you wanna look for is what I was just talking about. I said I remain neutral. And in the past, I have said positive things about Trump and negative things about Trump. I don't give people a pass, you know. Did I think Trump was better than Hillary? Well, at the time, yeah, because Hillary was saying we're going to war with Russia. But what are we doing? I mean, it's all a trick. It's all an illusion. It's all. I don't care what talking head president is in there or what's going on. I look for action. Okay. One of the spiritual principles I think that Yeshua mentioned in the Bible is, and I'm not a Bible thumper. I believe in all taking it from all sources, but one of the things is you shall know them by their fruit. Okay. In other words, the tree blooms or has certain kinds of fruit. It's either rotten or it's fresh, you know. And so if you watch these people, and you can't get into all these things about, oh yeah, but you know, this is just a game, and really, Trump's doing this and doing that, and he's fooling the deep state, and this is his plan, and blah 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 blah. You know what? The truth is what should be the main thing. Speaking truth, and if there's a deep state, okay, let me just go off on this for a minute. If there's a deep state and they're in control, which they are, and there's an Illuminati, and there's people that are controlling the weather, and people that are controlling our thoughts and all this stuff. Well, if you were president and you were of a righteous, made out of a righteous fabric, let's say, or you were truthful, wouldn't you tell the people of this? Wouldn't you inform the people, not play games? You wouldn't play games because if you tell the people, don't you get them on your side if you're truthful? So why beat around the bush? You know, you got all these movements like Q and oh, Trump's doing this, and there's a big plan here to free everybody and overcome the deep state. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen any indication of it whatsoever. All I've seen is foolishness, the same old pattern of political mixed with business interests, the corporation of the United States of America. People think there's a government here. See, this is part of the big illusion. Okay. People think there's a government here. People think this is a country of the United States of America. No, it's the corporation of the United States of America. Okay. And they own you. Okay. And like George Carlin said, you're not in their club and you never will be. Okay. They own your ass and they buy and sell you. Okay. So that's what it's all about. Okay, that's what it's all about. So I judge people or I look at people and I judge them by what kind of actions they are and how truthful they are. And so far I haven't seen too much evidence of that. I haven't seen any evidence of the pursuit of the criminal quote cabal, which includes Hillary and all that whole crew. But aren't they all criminal if they're not telling the truth? And aren't they all, if you cover up crimes, if you don't pursue crimes, then aren't you just as guilty as the criminal? If you let, that's called a sin of omission. Okay. Um, Somebody's asking a question here about the Spider Woman. And okay, that's delving into Hopi prophecy, and that's a whole nother subject which I'll address another time when I'm just talking about that particular belief system or that particular indigenous history or mythology or whatever you want to say it is. So we'll get into that another time. I'll probably do a video. No, you don't have to worry about leading me off subject because it's all related anyway. I'm actually glad you brought that up because it makes you it makes people realize that I am into a lot of different areas. Okay, in indigenous thought and spiritual thought and Taoist thought, and so that's good that you mentioned that because I do have a video about the Hopi people, which has thousands of views or over 1,000 views. So I'm glad I got that out there. Let me talk about before I go here. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but let me talk about my website for a minute, rogerthunderhands.com. That's something that you should go to if you're interested in any of my books. And even my videos I post on there, I try to post my latest live stream, and there's a place for donations. I want to thank those that have. I want to thank those that have Rick, especially, and some other people that have donated or actually gone on Patreon or Patreon. I think it's Patreon. And you can support me with like $1 a month. They take out of your credit card or whatever, or you can go to PayPal. And I think those are links that are on here. I appreciate anything. I am retired or semi-retired. I hate to think of myself as a senior citizen or anything. Um, but I wanna devote more time to helping people, okay? And, if people wanna help me in return, that's much appreciated. I'll just leave it at that, and the links are on there. Um, if you think I offer some kind of valuable information that you're not getting from other sources, I appreciate any support, that's given. So I'll leave it there. And, again, um, check out my website. I think you'll like it. I'm still working on it. And I think you would like my books, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, and Emergence. And think that might be something that might be helpful to a lot of people. Um, yeah, karma's coming to the US government big time. Well, let's hope so. I've been waiting around for a while to see that one. Let's hope that there is some kind of comeuppance, some kind of balancing of the playing field. And I wouldn't mind if it was done by another government that's a little bit more, let's say, concerned about their culture. See, this government doesn't have a culture. This country doesn't really have a culture except for the indigenous people, and they were pretty much exterminated. But as far as countries like Russia and China, oh my God, there's no comparison. They have a thousands and thousands of years old cultures and philosophies and that type of thing that just make the USA look like I don't know a bunch of malcontents or something, and that's what they are basically. Yeah, I hope that we see something in the way of humbling. How about that? Karma. You can call it karma, or you can call it humbling. A humbling of this hegemonic state that we live in. So I appreciate all comments here, and I also appreciate the fact that I'm not getting any trolls so far. If I do get trolls, I'll just ignore them. Or you know what I'll do? Here's the deal. I notice that most people on here are very positive and most people are behind uh, or into some of the thought or what I'm talking about, or just maybe me as a person. I'll leave it up to you guys. If you see a troll on here or somebody that's coming off with some kind of despicable crap, uh, I'll leave it to you guys. Okay, that's my phone. That's my sonar phone ringing back there. I'll leave it to you guys to handle the trolls. How's that? You can deal with them, and I won't have to deal with them. You can defend me. um, I don't need to defend myself. When I see that type of stuff, I just laugh at it because it's ignorance. Anyway, you know what? Um, maybe I'll use that little pulsing sonar thing that's on my phone as a way to end this video. See what I'm talking about? Intrusions in your everyday life. I mean, you can't get away from it. You can't get away from this person calling you or that person calling you or somebody trying to disturb your peace. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there today. Thanks for coming in, everybody, on this chat. Give this a thumbs up. See, you can help me by giving this a thumbs up and maybe sharing this video. And there's all kinds of ways to share it on Google and on your platforms and with your friends and all that type of thing. And let them know that there's somebody out there that's refreshing and truthful uh, and considers considers things other than religion and politics and comes from a more spiritual point of view. I can help you, you can help me. How's that? All right, this is Roger Thunderhands saying adios and looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye.